Welcome to the finale. Welcome into this video. Welcome to my channel or back to my channel. This is an energy update and it's all about the finale. We're going to be talking about the current energy that we're going through, what's going on behind the scenes, below the surface, so you understand how to work with the current energy in order to flow with it better instead of resisting it or kind of getting lost in the current of the energy. So we're managing right now the finale. This is kind of like the culmination of the last 7 years coming together in the next 2 months. You might be guided to be doing specific things that maybe you've been intuitively led to. Maybe you've gotten direct messages if you're like me and you hear, you see, and you've gotten told to do things and you haven't done them. You're potentially going to be getting the opportunities sped up. So all these things might start to catalyze in your life. So maybe you were guided years ago to like be a photographer or start to do paragliding or start to sail or learn how to fly an airplane or buy a compass or all these things in the last 7 years that you were guided to do that you didn't do. You're going to get a really, really, really fast opportunity to go do all of them. And the reason that this is happening is because in a lot of circumstances, for a lot of people, this might be your last kind of push or chance to do these things. Especially with the oncoming, digital ID coming in, if you're somebody like me who's not going to do that, you're not going to get to do any of these things. You're not going to be able to go rent an apartment. You're not going to be able to go out and own land. You're not going to be able to do all of these incredible things. And so you might feel overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, why are all these things coming in? Like, I feel like I have all these opportunities, or you feel like this like deep, like, I need to go do this, like your life depends on it. Right now, you need to trust that, because for people who are choosing freedom and sovereignty through this shift, this is the final call. This is the finale, like the next 2 months. And so you need to go out and do the things that God's guided you to do that are part of your purpose now, and doing them with as much presence as possible, because it might be your last chance to do these things. And maybe not, but we are in the finale right now. So as we're in this type of kind of cataclysmic energy, you might be overwhelmed because you might be like, oh my God, I feel like I have to do all these things in a month or two, and you need to do this and this and this. And the best advice that I could give you right now is to surrender to doing what God's guiding you to do, because these are missing pieces. These are pieces that you should have already done, that were supposed to lead you to a specific pathway. And so God is giving this grace. It's kind of like a gate or a narrow path open for individuals who are quote unquote chosen, or who are supposed to live on a higher timeline and see Earth after all of the digital ID and all that stuff, and then all that civilization crumbles and collapses and all of that basically gets wiped out, because it will after 7 years. If you're supposed to still be around after that, which, I mean, if you go into the system, you won't be, then, we have a big gap of time where you won't be able to do these things. For example, you won't be able to go sign up to paraglide or to take this boat trip. Do you know what I mean? And so it is kind of this finale for you to go do these things. So if you're feeling like, oh wow, a year or two ago, it really felt like God was trying to tell me to buy this instrument and play this and sing, go do that. Oh, it really feels like I was being guided to take this trip and do this thing, go do that. Because you're being guided to catch up on the things. It's almost like 7 years of things that you were supposed to do, like all the steps that you missed. You're getting a chance to do them really fast. You're getting a chance to catch up, because you have to be positioned very specifically for the events that are coming up this summer and fall. You need to be positioned so specifically that you missing out on those opportunities didn't position you to be where you need to be through this finale. Like, you didn't do the things you needed to do, so then you don't have the correct circumstances. Like, you missed a life lesson, you missed meeting people, networking, you missed opportunities, maybe financial or business opportunities, maybe connections that you needed. And so basically God is going to speed up the timeline really fast for you right now to go do these things, make these big jumps, and do the things you were guided to do, and then God is going to align the things in the spirit. So what you need to do, what your responsibility is to go do the things that you know that you've been needing to do, whether happy and fun or, a task that you are just putting off. You need to do these things because attached to them is your positioning, and you have to be positioned properly this coming summer. You're in the finale. And if you were in the finale, and let's zoom out a bit, if you were in the finale and you knew that in 2 months, for example, the power was going to go out, and when it did come back on, you'd have to get digital ID or you're completely locked out of society, how would you live the next 2 months differently? What would you do? Because at that point, if you're not already set up on land and you don't already have these things connected, it's likely because you missed out on steps. It's because you didn't do specific things. Like I, for example, can go back and pinpoint these specific things I did not do that did not put me in the exact position that I could have or should have been right now for the finale. I can go and pinpoint all those things. So I highly recommend, what are the things that you knew that you were supposed to do, and are you having the opportunities? Is it coming up in your reality to go do them? Because you don't understand the significance of if God told you to scuba dive 3 years ago and you didn't do it, but what was that experience going to lead you to? Where would you have ended up going? Who would you have met? Who would you have become? How would that experience change your perspective of life? All these different, how would you have been a different person? All of those components and all the missing pieces now, it's going to speed up really fast. The most important things are going to align, and your job is to walk that pathway. It's to be as obedient as you possibly can to God's will for your life in this finale, in these final moments, so that you can be positioned properly, because God still has a way. God did see that you were going to miss these opportunities. God knew that. So then there's these backup. You're on kind of your backup plan. You're on your backup opportunities to do these things before it changes, and before, if you're like myself and you're going to remain free until death, then you got to go do them now. Well, this was the finale. This is an energy update. I know that for some people this could be triggering, or fear-mongering is more just speaking the truth, and it's triggering your fear and your nervous system's not calm enough. So I recommend, if you do get triggered by this video, to go sit by a tree, breathe on the grass, connect with the sun, go sit with yourself. If you get panicked, splash your face with cold water. You can't panic and have cold water at the same time. It's not possible. And just make sure you're grounded. Consider the things that you can see, the colors, touch 3 different textures if you do feel ungrounded. Always wanting to put those little nervous system tips in there, because I know that this video is basically if you had 2 months left to do everything that you want to do, what would you do? But this is just the truth of the energy right now, and I'm not gonna lie about what's the energetically available right now. So I'm sending so much love.